All right, we're going to Mr. Jeff Duncan of South Carolina at this time.
I yield some time to the gentleman from Texas.
I thank the gentleman. One question, Mr. Ambassador. Has any State Department employees ever been asked to sign non-disclosure agreements after the Benghazi attack?
Not that I am aware of, sir, no.
So you don't know whether they have or they haven't?
The State Department does not use non-disclosure agreements.
So that's a foreign concept to you, non-disclosure agreements with the State Department?
Well, obviously, we do sign agreements not to disclose classified information to individuals who do not have classified access, but that's different, I believe, than the thrust of your question. You're asking me, did we put into place specific non-disclosure agreements after Benghazi, and I do not believe we did so, sir. No.
Classified or non-classified?
No. No, sir.
I'll yield back to the gentleman from South Carolina. Thank you.
I thank the gentleman from Texas for an excellent line of questioning and points made about Americans being dismayed that no one's been brought to justice in Benghazi, the perpetrators, nor has anyone been brought to disciplinary action other than a slap on the hand within the Department of State. That needs to happen. Just being removed and reassigned to another position is not justifiable. People need to lose their jobs over the failures that were admitted to here today, were pointed out in the ARB report, and I want to thank the gentleman for mentioning and acknowledging that it was a terrorist attack. That's more than the former Secretary of State was willing to do sitting in that very chair, Mr. Undersecretary. A lot of questions remain about Benghazi, questions that won't be answered today, but questions that need to be asked. What was Ambassador Stevens doing in Benghazi on 11 September? Did he have a dinner or a meeting with the Turkish officials? What was the substance of those meetings? Was it funneling arms from the Libyan rebels to the Syrian fighters through Turkey? A great impact on regional security has been the proliferation of shoulder-fired missiles or man-pads, man-portable air defense systems, leaking out of Libya since weapon depots were heavily looted during Libya fighting. Out of Libya's 20,000 man-pads inventory, how many are accounted for today? How many had been recovered under that mission going on in Benghazi? And how many were stored in Benghazi that ultimately fell in the hands of the Libyan rebels and possibly al-Qaeda? Can you answer that question?
I'll have to get you that information for the record, sir. I don't have that with me.
Okay. The question that I have is who knew what and when? You're familiar with the term Neuwan, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For the committee, that is a secure telephone conference call system between major Washington National Security Watch Centers. It's used for rapid evaluation of a breaking crisis. Was there a Neuwan initiated by the State Department on or prior to 11 September 12?
I believe there was. I know there were massive interagency telephone calls going on. I can check that. But I know that I was on numerous calls with officials from other U.S. government agencies.
I appreciate that. I'm specifically talking about a Neuwan. So I'm going to make a formal request to you and the State Department today for the activity logs of the Department of State, its Ops Center, and its Bureau of Intel and Research for any Neuwan activity prior to and during the 9/11/2012 time frame for Libya and specifically Benghazi. I want to know who was on the call and what the substance of the call was. And we'll put that in writing to you as well. There's so many questions that need to be asked and answered about the disciplinary action at the Department of State. Is it true that you required a daily report of the personnel in country and that you personally approved every official American who went to Tripoli or Benghazi, either on official business or assignment or a TDY?
I set a cap. I set a cap for the number of personnel who were to be in Benghazi, and we controlled because it was a post with.
But did you require a daily report on all the personnel in country?
I don't believe I got a daily report. I never remember getting a daily report on everyone on country. I would get questions from time to time about adding or subtracting personnel.
Just a limited time. Gregory Hicks, former Deputy Chief of Mission at Embassy Tripoli, noted that in his testimony before. So my question is, do you require that for every country, or was this an obsession with Libya at that point in time?
It's certain posts which are either under evacuation or ordered departure status. we keep track down to the single number.
And I can see the merit there. So I'm out of time. You will follow my request on Illinois 1.
Absolutely. And as you say you have other questions, I'd be glad to come see you or any other member of the committee individually and engage in a fuller discussion.
We appreciate that, and we also would appreciate those documents because we don't know what legal standing you have not to turn them over to us.